a very simple story. And it does follow this basic idea. Rising action, falling action, resolution, and denouement, where things go back to normal or status quo, or it's how it kind of like unrolls. Now, some stories just stop at the resolution, and this one is pretty much that case. We don't really see what happens after the ending. They don't show what happens if the brothers all end up living in that house, or if the other brothers do it. But anyway, so at the beginning, you've got a change. And the change is they're all kicked out of their mom's house. So she sends them off, and she gives everybody an equal amount of money, basically, depending on the story, and tells them to go off and build a house. So 3 little brothers leave home by mom, and they go out. And the first rising action is the straw house guy, and he builds his out of straw. He's in a rush. And then he's pretty happy about that. And he built it out of straw, and the other guy built his out of sticks. And depending on the version you read, then the next guy builds his out of brick. And depending on the version you read, these two usually make fun of this guy. They're like, oh, it's taking so long. But, and here comes dun dun dun. This is where the rising action comes in, and this is where the outside agitator comes in. This is a different model in which there's a bad guy. There's an external thing. Now, this structure is much more like a historical Shakespearean thing, where there's something from the outside that's coming in, that's external forces that are driving the plot. And there's no one hero here either, is there? Because it's the 3 little pigs. But let's just say, I think that the hero, if there is one, is the brick guy. We'll call him Biggie Smalls. We'll call him Piggy Smalls, okay? So Piggy Smalls is our hero. He's the big bro, okay? And then these guys are the younger ones. I don't know what their names are. Think about it later. So anyway, the bad guy comes in. He is the big bad wolf. And of course, what's the rising action? Well, first he knocks off, I'll blow your house in. So the straw guy gets it. He runs off to go to the stick guy. They run off. They go to the brick guy. And all of a sudden, so this is rising action, rising action, rising action. And it's just like, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, not by the terror of my chinny chin chin. And kids love that, because it's like anytime that they can repeat a structure, they really enjoy it. And that's a basic narrative device. And then it gets to the brick house, right? And the same thing happens again, and kids really like it. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And the wolf blows and nothing happens. Ta-da, the brick house held up. And I would argue that because the action is being driven by the big bad wolf, that the climax is the realization that the wolf has that he can't blow the house down. That's the climax. So he goes to blow the house in, and he can't. And that realization, not only on his part, but on their part, it's like they've got to be crossing their fingers, right? So it's the realization he can't blow the house in. Then what's he going to do? Well, he has to make a decision. He still wants these pigs, you know. He's been lying and saying he needed a cup of sugar or whatever. Now he tries to come down the chimney. That's his choice. And coming down the chimney is part of the falling action. So there's a realization, because he's the one driving. He starts driving the action at this point. Like, the initial choices of these guys are what kind of brings it. And then the initial choices plus the bad guy leads us to this moment where the 3 pigs are like, you can't come in, and they realize that it's working. So you could say that this is the climactic moment when the big bad wolf can't blow the house in. So now the falling action is he tries to get in through the chimney, while right away these 3 guys start boiling some water. or oil, or depending on the version of the story, it can get bloodier from there. And then what happens to the wolf? Well, he's boiled alive, and depending on the version that you read, they have wolf stew. And that's kind of where it ends. It ends at the resolution of the external threat. So you've got, the big bad wolf is gone. And it doesn't really do the denouement. It doesn't go back to where we're at, which was the central start was mom says, go make a house. So we don't know if Piggy Smalls is now like hosting his brothers for the rest of his life, or whether he goes and helps them go and build some brick houses. I mean, and you can add on to the story and you can make it that. And that is like your Aristotelian analysis of the Three Little Pigs. All right, so that's that. And then the next one is showing you how to do Twitter summaries for this.